Sports Pong.
Hello, Internet.
Sportsball, episode number 3.
Episode haven't been canceled
Very
yet.
excited about that.
We've made it. We've made it to the third episode, which means we can get syndicated. That's
right.
We get all that syndication money.
Oh, man.
That's how it works.
You know, when you get to your third episode, there are some things happening, so we should just mention it right off at the top. If you want to download Sportsball, this one, past ones, and going forward, go to iTunes. It's on iTunes now.
It's on iTunes.
It's on
Who
the
is
thing with
saying
the
that?
iTunes.
What is your name, sir? That's my subtle way of saying do the intros.
Oh, dude.
That's
so-
Tyler.
Yeah.
He's been sitting beside you the whole
Sorry,
time.
I
Jeff.
was
But
like-
the
I was like,
Internet
wait, what
just
is it?
joined us,
Okay.
Joel. I'm trying to say hi, Internet.
Yeah.
Let us introduce ourselves.
Well, you
so
know
in case
these
this is the
two
first
guys.
time you've been watching, now you can actually figure out who we are. And we are...
Tyler, Co.
I'm Jolko.
And
Ah.
I'm Jack Berg.
There we go.
All right,
Jack.
so there we go.
Jack, there you go.
I should say
Anyway.
generally, like we're going to try and be as inclusive as possible
Yes.
across as many sports as possible, across the globe as much as possible. But we have to say this week is going to be kind of a weird week because it is sort of a heavy college football week, just because.
Yeah, well, heavy college football and heavy
NFL
pro
hasn't
football.
started yet.
Yeah, it's
and
about to.
also
Coming up on Thursday.
we've been waiting for like a year for it to start, so this is kind of like maybe we're a little bit heavy college football this week.
Yeah, but we are going to
Yeah.
jump into some
We are
stories
gonna
today
jump into
that
some
are,
other things.
like across the pond, so I'm
Across-
excited
yeah,
to
we
talk
got
about
some-
those.
Yeah, but we're not. It's not just a football podcast. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things. Don't think all we're going to do is football all the time.
Yeah, it's
And
what's
we'll be,
Obviously, right now is the hotness.
Right, and we'll
so
be taking
when-
people's calls about sex and their relationship.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing coming up. But that's going to be on the next episode,
That's on the
not
next
this
episode.
one.
All right, Dr.
But yeah,
Drew.
this one is this episode. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. Really excited about. As the guy said, it was a huge college football weekend. Gigantic college football weekend.
Very, very big.
Wackiness all over the place. Not too many upsets. Just a lot of big victories. Some of the top dogs didn't look so good. TCU, Baylor, they kind of looked a little sloppy in their openers. Ohio State looked like they were going to struggle with Virginia Tech last night until they blew them out of the water. And of course,
Shocking.
do we need to just, as we're Longhorn fans?
I mean, again, like it's just sort of like it's funny about football and college football in general, where there seems to be for some reason this big mystery around things, and it's kind of sort of. Football, if you don't know football, if you're across the pond, don't know football, it's kind of easy because there's a position called quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's a guy on the offense who receives the ball. He's the first guy. And so that position is kind of important.
A little important.
Right?
It's
kind of
very,
important.
very important.
I don't
Little
think in
bit.
any other sport there is a position as important as quarterback. I really don't, because in baseball you could say, "Ooh, it's maybe the pitcher," but pitchers rotate, and so it's like
Yeah.
one out of
No,
every
I don't
five
think there
starts.
is. No, quarterback is the
Quarterback
most
is the
important
most
position. It's the most paid position. It's
It
the most
is.
sought after. There's only 32 guys in the NFL that can do it. And
Right, and so it's sort of like not that hard sometimes, where it's like, so if you have a team that was super successful last year, and then the quarterback who's been their successful quarterback leaves the team, and there's a new quarterback, sometimes teams, I think, tend to get overrated, because when you lose your star quarterback, it's not the same team. Like,
No,
this isn't
no.
that hard. Like, when Johnny Manziel left A&M, it's not the same team, guys, and yet they still had that very high ranking. So it's like right off the bat, to me, you can make some clear calls in terms of the rankings and what's going on. And indeed, last night when you saw that Ohio State game and they were ahead at the half. They were ahead at the half, and then they
Virginia
lost.
Tech was at
Virginia
it.
Tech,
Virginia
not-
Tech was
not
ahead
Ohio
at the half,
State.
right?
Yeah.
And their spread was like 14 points on there, and they lost their quarterback, and then they were terrible.
Well, Ohio State has a multitude of quarterbacks to choose from, and in fact, one of them, wide receiver Braxton Miller, converted to that position. He was unbelievable last night.
He was
doing like
unbelievable.
He had highlight reel
Madden
shit.
moves.
It was like nonstop highlight reel.
unreal. And now you did say, when your star quarterback leaves, you struggle typically. Sometimes you can have a guy come in and get you some success, maybe like
know.
10, 11 games in, but you do sometimes have teams that return their starting quarterback, and that returning starting quarterback sucks. And then he comes back the next year and he sucks even more.
Well,
and should we get it out of our system since we're
well,
Texas
okay.
fans
Well,
about
I don't
how
know. I
bad
don't
that
know
Notre
if I'm
Dame
ready
game
to
was?
leave. I'm not sure if I'm ready to leave this game yet, because it's just like you have to talk about Ohio State, right? Because
Yeah.
if you don't know the history of Ohio State, last year they've had problems with injuries and their head quarterback position, where they lost their star quarterback,
Yeah.
and then they bring in another quarterback, and he is phenomenal.
Well,
He's phenomenal, and then he gets injured, and then they bring in the third string quarterback. And he's phenomenal too. I mean, they're just completely loaded.
We should also mention that for those of you who don't watch football regularly, college football regularly, Ohio State is the returning national champion. So they won last year. There's a 4-team playoff in college football, And so did they beat not Alabama first?
No, they did. They beat Alabama first, and then they went on to beat Oregon.
That's right. So they beat Alabama and Oregon, which are two of really incredible teams
with a third-string quarterback.
Yeah, and so
as Joel's mentioning, J.T. Barrett was the starter last year after Braxton Miller. The first quarterback went down, so keep with me. Braxton Miller, quarterback number 1, he goes down. J.T. Barrett plays all season. He goes down at the end. So this guy named Cardell Jones has to come in, and he plays 3 games. His 3 games are the Big Ten championship that he absolutely demolishes Wisconsin. He wins that, his first collegiate football game. Then he goes on to beat Alabama in the first playoff game for Ohio State, and then he goes on to win the national championship. 3 games. That's how good
he
runs.
Then, you just retire after that.
And then to add insult to injury, they take their starting quarterback, who used to be their number 1 guy. Now we're going to make him a receiver. And now he's the most unbelievable receiver you've ever seen in your entire life. There was a highlight last night where he caught a pass, pressed the X button, and literally all that was left of the 2 defenders were like their clothes. Like there was just jock straps sitting on the grass.
Tom and Jerry, when they run so fast, it's just dust left standing. That's basically
exactly what it was.
Made them do.
Yeah.
Man,
they were Ohio State was not the favorite at all last year because everyone was like 3rd-string quarterback. How could they possibly have a chance?
No, a lot of people made a hoopla about how did they even make it in the playoffs. They were the 4th-seeded team to go into the playoffs. People are crying. How can somebody else who's won a conference championship as well?
TCU would have beat all of them, right?
And Ohio State proved everybody wrong, and it made the playoffs so successful out of the gate year 1 that the 4th-seeded team won the whole thing.
We should also point out why we're kind of getting started here. If you want to talk to us, we are watching the Sportsball hashtag on Twitter. So if you hashtag Sportsball, I've got mine up and running, and Joel's once we figure out how to program his VCR, he'll get his up and running too. So keep in the loop, and we'll be on there. So if you have questions or have any comments, we'll try to throw them into the conversation as well.
So we, speaking of the conversation that we've been having kind of all day, is we asked you guys to help us decide kind of a new little segment we're trying out. It's kind of a whiskey tango foxtrot type of a weekend in college football. So we had these 2 crazy things happen, and we asked you guys, who is the bigger dick? And so let's get to this. This first game.
We had WTF, but we can say dick.
We had 3 things happened last week in college football that demonstrates to you why college football is completely awesome.
It's just the best.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. It's so wacky. It's so crazy. So if you didn't watch this, we're going to show it to you. The first one, Minnesota TCU, was one of the first games right out of the gate. And during the game, Minnesota put up that infamous video we all know of the dramatic chipmunk. And they put that up on their gigantic scoreboard while TCU was kicking field goals.
and it worked.
And it worked. TCU missed their first field goal.
That picture looks fake. It looks so good it looks fake.
It looks so good it's fake. But you know what's funny about this is that this story broke regarding this, but this is not. They have been doing this for a while now.
Have they?
And what you learn from this story is that nobody knows what a gopher is. But they're the Minnesota Gophers, right? And still nobody knows if that's a chipmunk, a gopher, a groundhog, or a subterranean animal creature.
That's true.
Well, chipmunk, I don't think it is a chipmunk because chipmunks.
It's not a chipmunk.
No, it's not a chipmunk.
It's not a chipmunk.
Because chipmunks have the white and the black on the face like this, the little stripes, right?
It's a gopher. It's the Minnesota Gophers.
I don't think it's a gopher either, though. I think it's more of a prairie dog gopher mix.
It could be a prairie dog.
I think there's some some.
What you learn from this
tell us what this creature is.
Nobody knows what a gopher or a prairie dog is.
It's not
a prairie dog, a fat squirrel, whatever you want to call it.
It could be something like that.
An Australian possum.
So that's awesome. I don't, it's not really a dick move. All these moves are awesome. I absolutely love that right
it's
there.
Awesome.
It's so funny. And it worked. They missed their first field goal. Now, whether or not that was the thing that caused TCU to miss that field goal, I don't know. But this one is a little bit more suspect. So Kansas State is taking on South Dakota this weekend. And their band, collegiate bands are awesome. They put on great halftime shows.
Yeah.
And it's a huge tradition. So Kansas State was doing like an ode to Star Trek, is what they said.
The theme was space, right?
Yes. And they were playing the Star Trek theme song during this. So they made the Enterprise.
And clearly, we just rolled the video, right?
The famous ship that is flown.
Here you can clearly see that's clearly the Star Trek Enterprise.
And it's the Jayhawks logo.
There it goes, the Star Trek Enterprise, mouth fucking the other team's mascot.
That's clearly the
That's horrifying.
Let's take a look at it one more time, folks.
You know what the
shoving its port
You know what the best
right
thing about
now.
this was is when the
saucer
band
section goes right in.
The best thing about this is when the band apologized on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was like, what in the fuck happened in that game? Like their Twitter apology was like, all right, first of all, we want to apologize for shaping our band in the shape of genitalia and having intercourse with the other team's mascot.
Yeah, they tried to play it off that, of course, that's the ship. It's not. That I don't know much, but that's a cock and balls. That is a cock and balls.
I don't know what sort of Star Trek Enterprise they're looking at.
It started tell when they're practicing.
It started very Enterprise-esque, and then kind of.
You not know it's going to be like that.
I want to see somebody cutting together Star Trek footage, and like it's a scene with Jean-Luc Picard, and then you cut to space, and it's that thing flying through space, like having sex with asteroids,
ramming
like other.
right into them.
Oh, it's so funny.
My God.
And yeah, that was supposed to be a space monster, which it's actually their rival Kansas's mascot, a Jayhawk. That's a Jayhawk.
That's not what Starfleet is all about, all right? When they founded
birds?
Starfleet was not to create ships going around fucking other.
That's actually the Kobayashi Maru. Is it just ramming into things?
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
Oh my
All
God.
right, apparently Wikipedia says it's a prairie dog from a Japanese TV show.
See,
So
and
it's
I
a
buy
prairie
that.
dog.
I buy
And
that.
everyone's calling it chipmunk. It's not chipmunk.
Chipmunks have the tiny little ears and they got the little whiskers things going out like that.
Thank
That's
you,
what they
Hockey
look like.
Waffles.
Yeah,
Hockey Waffles.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
So
So, anyways, we asked you
Oh my
guys.
God.
We put up a straw poll. We wanted to see like which one was better. Which one did you guys think was the cooler move? So, if you want to be involved there right now, if you see right down here, you
There we
can go
go.
to that straw poll and figure it out. Peyton, can we take a look at it right now by any chance? I think we've had a few people.
Oh, look at these!
go
Look at
ahead
these
and vote.
graphics we have. This is
my
new.
Lord.
Wow, that
Ooh.
is very.
Oh no, guys, I don't have my glasses on, but what does that say? It looks pretty even to me.
It looks like the dramatic
The
chipmunk
thing-
is currently sitting at about 91 votes.
And it looks like
And
the
the-
thing on the right side of the screen is a Starship
or
Enterprise.
92. Okay, I've got it here.
Is
So
it trying to?
dramatic
Is it trying to
okay,
have
is
sex
this-
with our graph?
This is incredible. This is like completely even. So
keep it away from the
the
graph.
chipmunk
No.
is at 92, and the Star Trek penis is at 90. So I mean, you don't get much closer than that. Man, all right.
it's
Oh,
one
93 to
testicle.
90 now. So anyway, keep voting during the
Yeah,
show.
keep voting. Yeah,
You
we'll
can follow
come back
that
to
link
it.
we just had up, or you can go to. I'll retweet it, but also Tyler had it up on his
Oh,
Twitter
it's great.
thing.
The third
so.
thing that you brought up on Twitter last night was like during the Ohio State game, one of the Ohio State players was wearing a gold
No,
watch.
it was Virginia Tech.
Oh, it wasn't Virginia Tech, it was
Yeah, I mean college
He was
football.
wearing a gold watch.
So we've got penises killing gigantic space birds, and we have gopher things on scoreboards, and then this
Gopher
Virginia
things.
Tech player. I don't have the biggest problem in the world with this, but this guy was wearing like a gold Rolex
It was like a huge
on
gold
his
Rolex.
wrist. I don't know why
that
you'd
can't
be
be
wearing
legal,
that.
right?
I would
I
have
don't
a
think it
problem with
is.
that. I wouldn't want to like
But he was
get
wearing
a
it the whole
watch
game.
jabbed
Well,
into me.
I mean, like not necessarily that. Like, I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to wear it because you don't want to get it ruined. But at the same time, like that's like wearing jewelry or something. I mean, that's
Yeah, now
that's
players,
could be
I think
dangerous, right?
players can still do earrings, and they can like if they have a necklace, they can like put it in their shirt. But like it was full on out like 80s
It
gold
was
Rolex.
It was a huge gold like watch. It was just ridiculous.
It was insane, and I'm just sitting there thinking, "What are you thinking, kid?" But I love it. I love that you're being you and that you're doing this.
I do too, but I mean, where are the coaches? Do you think he did that?
Yeah,
with
how did nobody? It's not like you miss it. It's a gold watch on a maroon sleeve, like you weren't gonna notice.
You know, a former college football coach.
I
would,
know a
would,
few,
he-
yeah.
Would any of those go for that?
The one I know, he would not. He would
Yeah.
not. He'd
must
be
have-
doing laps or something. I don't know. But that was the craziness that was college football. Everything this weekend was. You had a little
my
dose
God.
of what it can be. So for those of you that don't watch it, you really should, because the pageantry, the colors, the everything that goes into it, you get stuff like
weird
that. And we're
sex
only
insignias.
one weekend, and we already have. What is it? Star Trek penis killing space bird?
we got dramatic chipmunk. We've got Star Trek. It's pretty nuts.
It's awesome. So, but we've been getting a lot of comments online because you guys leave us great comments. It's awesome. I love reading them. You guys are really cool. Talking about something across a pond.
Oh yeah,
Hurling.
This is great.
Hurling, not curling. Hurling. So we took a gander at this thing and we looked at it, and it's actually really cool. Ireland's hurling championship finals were this past weekend.
And it takes place in Ireland, and since
in
you know that
Ireland.
it takes place in Ireland, every single one of these players are drunk out of their minds. They're just completely. They play the game completely drunk. I'm making that
Well,
up.
I've never heard of this thing before. I don't know what hurling. I didn't know what it was, and so we took a look at it, and it was actually you talk about drunk people. It was 82,000 fans watching this thing. This is gigantic.
It's a great. I don't know if we have tape on it.
I think we might have some footage of this stuff. So basically, what hurling is it's like adult Quidditch.
It's like
I think it is.
So it's almost like it's like lacrosse meets like field hockey, I guess. So it's Quidditch.
Well, it's almost like it has that baseball element right there, because that was the thing that made it interesting to me. Is that it seems like at any point, it seems like at any point they can just throw the ball and just like whack at the goal.
I don't really know what the rules are, because you can pick up the ball and then you can throw it in the air and then hit it, or you can just hit it, or you can kind of get it on the ground like a hockey stick.
Any sport where you have a bunch of dudes running around with sticks is awesome. Like I mean, that's right. Take
Jesus
that. That's
Christ.
why hockey is
that
great,
legal?
right?
Oh my
I don't
God.
think that was
Look
legal.
at those stands. I mean, that is a full arena.
I've never seen anything like this. We got to go do this. We have to go watch this.
And it's funny because you watch the sport and you're like, you know what? I would be the best at the world this game. Like, I don't know anything about this game, but like already I know I would be like how hard is it to just like hit a ball and hit it between the two poles or into the?
I'm gonna guess it's very difficult.
It's gonna be
Joel.
very, very hard.
How hard can that be?
I'm
You
gonna
can do that.
So is this like what lacrosse players aspire to go to? They go to Europe to go be in the hurling leagues.
Well, I guess hurling probably looks down on lacrosse because you have the masks and then everything else like
guess
that. But
so.
this shit is awesome.
It is.
And
It's really cool.
A lot bigger fields too. So
Yeah.
man, that's intense.
But we wanted to give it some love because, we're
great
going to
sport.
talk about a lot of sports around the globe. And, when something's relevant, we're going to mention it. So,
And I could it's funny, you were saying like how it's like Quidditch. There's an actual thing going on in like a lot of universities here in the United States where they do actually play a form of Quidditch.
Yeah.
And it's
there's a documentary about it called Mudbloods.
yeah,
it's all about the Quidditch.
And it's interesting because it proves to you no one can look cool while running across the field with a stick between their legs. It's just not possible.
That's true.
You have to be in the air flying for it to look cool.
Once we figure out the whole flying part, I think then Quidditch will really catch on.
Okay,
but
so what is all
then,
right? So I was thinking about that. What are the balls in Harry Potter? There's the snitch, right?
The quaffle is the big one, right? Those are the ones that
There's
they knock
like
around.
4 balls, right? Or 3 balls.
There's the snitch, the quaffle, and then I think that might be it, just the quaffle, because they like bang it into stuff, right? That's the one they like actually can score points through the rings. God, I'm a nerd.
The snitch is like the gold one with the wings.
Yeah, so the snitch is worth like 150 points, and then hitting the quaffle through one of the rings is worth, I think it's like 10, 20, or 30, depending on which one it is.
So are those guys in hurling, is that like the
bludger?
Different
the bludger's
balls?
the beater, or no, that's the beater. The bludger is the... The bludger hits the ball. That's the bat, right?
We have to tweet.
We've got our stats guy. We're getting closer to getting a stats guy.
We're gonna get one.
We have Cole now off to the side who just pulled bludger out of his head. He doesn't even have a laptop. All right. So they hit the bludger and other people. So that's basically just a way to hurt people.
We'll put that up there.
Like all those sports sound very cool, but I'm sorry, none of them have Star Trek Enterprise penises going. I'm getting so many pictures of Star Trek Enterprise penises being tweeted at me right now. It's just,
oh my gosh,
that's the greatest.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, we're gonna have to tweet out a few more of these pictures, and we'll keep you up to date with the poll. But that looks like a game I'd be really interested in. It's one of those things like you fear what you don't know, and so with a lot of sports, and it kind of goes for sports fans here in America big time, is that you have those 3. You have football, baseball, basketball. And everybody looks down on soccer. They don't like hockey. They won't pay attention to anything else going on. But you watch stuff like that, and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like every sport out there, even curling, not hurling, curling, which I don't know how. I have to ask Barbara, because she's a Canadian, how the hell they came up with that
Any sport
game.
you can do while holding an alcoholic beverage is a good sport.
It's a good sport.
Well, I mean, in general, like we can talk about this where it bugs me. Like we've been doing Rooster Teeth for a long damn time now, and it drives me crazy when people are like, oh, I like video games. Sports are stupid, and it's like, no, because there's people who play sports that are like video games are stupid.
Not
it's like,
necessarily a binary choice.
Well, yeah,
but it's to me, I don't know. They're the same thing to me.
Yeah, really, it's just putting your passion behind something, and when you start kind of crapping on other people's passions, that just sucks. You don't want to be that person. If someone's really into football, they wear jerseys, put face paint on, and go to the stadium. Good for them. You might be someone who goes to PAX, and someone's like, why would you fly to Seattle or Boston to go to some video game convention? Why would you fly to Austin or Sydney to go to RTX? It's like, that doesn't make any sense to them. Don't shit on someone's passion. So if you're into sports, awesome, great. If you're into video games, awesome, great. But hey, let's all love everyone.
Why not both?
No, exactly. Why not both? That's one of the reasons why we started this podcast. It was because there is a segment of our audience that is really into sports, and I know we're all really into sports, and to have an opportunity to actually talk about about it and be like, oh, we can talk about this and feel comfortable talking about sports and kind of getting into more nitty-gritty stuff, and hopefully you'll pull in some fans who might not know much about sports.
All of that is true,
Absolutely.
except for the college campus Quidditch, which is if you're doing that, just stop doing that.
We can all agree. So
we can all agree. Yeah, actually, I think the 2-time national champs are down here at Texas. I don't know what that says.
Is that true?
University of Texas won like 2 Quidditch championships or whatever.
Some
I don't know.
beaters are going to show up and beat the shit out of us now. That's what's going to happen. You're talking smack about Quidditch.
Sorry. All right, I know. Sorry, Quidditch people. I think I love Harry Potter and all the things and the Dobby creature with the sock. I never really got that with the Dobby thing.
Dobby creature with the sock.
I know if Dobby came to my house, he should not touch my socks.
Well, no, he's not allowed to have clothing.
I think we're just digging ourselves into a deeper hole.
Sorry, Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter, and I love the hurling and the curling and everything else in between.
Remember, you can use the hashtag Sportsball to throw your Harry Potter knowledge at us. We're watching the Sportsball hashtag right now, so feel free to join in.
Anything good?
Right now, it's a lot of people. The bludgers are the balls, and the players are the beaters. So, all right, so it's the what is it? Quaffle, snitch, and bludger. Thank you, Laurel, Swiderski, and SG81 for that. So, quaffle, snitch, and bludger.
Awesome.
And so the quaffle is the one that scores, the snitch is the one that finishes the game, and then the bludger just beats the hell out of people.
I was going to ask a theoretical question, because for the longest time at this company, I was like, if we actually got a group together to play actual sports, like A, is that possible? And B, what sports would it be? And as it turns out, it was kickball.
It was kickball.
Yeah.
And it was a good idea in theory. And then we played.
Yeah?
And then
what happened?
It sucked.
Injuries?
It was bad.
Why
we
did it
were
suck?
bad. We were so bad. I don't know. We thought we came in riding high like we were going to kick ass.
Nobody lost any fingers or anything.
And like we cut up our jerseys and to look cool and douchey at the same time.
Who did you play against?
We played against teams that I have been playing for much longer than we.
I imagine it's like that dodgeball movie where they just like roll up and it's this big dude.
Yeah, that's
this giant legs and like
Dude,
2 foot long feet, like clown shoes.
We got worked really bad, so that kind of turned people off to it. But maybe we'll do like I don't know,
losing
else.
generally does.
Yeah, it does. But something, talking about we want everybody to be a part of this and inclusive, and we want to talk about all the sports, and we also want you guys to be a part of all the activities we partake in online as well. We are going to be having our fantasy football draft tonight.
I'm very excited by that.
Jack is very excited.
Yeah.
This is the first time
Joel,
in my life that
much.
I've used the word fantasy in a different way. So this is going to be really interesting to me.
That doesn't involve some form of cheerleaders.
I mean,
or...
even John Reisinger is going to be playing, which is like the coolest thing in the world to me. He's going to be my avatar.
Yeah. We swapped out a few different people. And also, so we did a thing last week where we were looking for the 10th member of our league. And I want to say congratulations to Stephen Wood, who we randomly selected from the Twitter people who posted. And actually, he's from London. So
really? His team name is the London Silly Nannies, which is a great name.
That is a great name.
I love that name.
Yeah, so good luck to that guy.
I didn't know who that was because I was looking online.
Like the community is being represented by a guy in England who's going to
Stephen
put together
Wood
an NFL football team.
He's carrying the hopes and dreams of millions of people.
So
don't mess it up, Stephen.
Yeah, I was looking at him. I was like going through our company directory because I was looking at the league. I'm like, who the fuck is Stephen Wood? I couldn't find him. I'm like, oh yeah, we got that one guy.
Yeah,
but check it out. If Stephen Wood is going to be the lucky guy, but you guys can be as well, because we want to announce that one of our sponsors, FanDuel, is going to be doing a really cool thing, and I'm going to get to that. So let's talk about FanDuel real quick. If you guys don't know what FanDuel is, it is fantasy sports that goes on daily, basically. You get to choose a new team every single day, and you get to win money, lots of money. These guys had $560 million go away to people last year.
Wow.
They've had billions since their inception, and you guys can be a part of it every single day. If you want to do it for something small, create a team. You get to pick your players. You get a kind of an allotment of players that you have like a salary cap, so like the more expensive players are going to be like Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady or a Gronk. You put a team together in one day. You can put down $1, you can put down $5, you can put down $200, and you're going to get that cash back. Everybody wins with FanDuel. And the best part about it is you're not really locked into anything. You're not paying a subscription to this thing. If you have a player get hurt like Jordy Nelson or Arian Foster, you're dumping them. You're not stuck with them the entire season. You get to constantly redo your team, and it's a lot of fun, guys. I love doing it.
Some player blows his fingers off.
Some player blows. Yeah, one of your players happens to blow off his fingers with fireworks. Well, he's off your fucking team. You're getting somebody else. So
Jack, this is perfect because this is a way for me to lose money.
I know.
At sport. and not have to go to Vegas.
No,
that's true.
You're going to win. You're going to win big.
I'm going to need that.
So here's the cool thing right now is that they are going to start a listener league for us.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Sweet.
all of you, like literally all of you, there's no limit, can be a part of our listener league. We're going to give you details after the show. But right now, if you go to FanDuel.com, first 50 people to do this, if you go to the right-hand corner and you type in the promo Sportsball, name of the show.
Click on the microphone.
Click on the microphone. Corner. It's going to be, up there. And click on that. Type in Sportsball. The first 50 people that do that, you're going to get a really cool deal. So like I said, you can put in, $1, $5, $200 if you want to. So for every dollar that you put in, FanDuel will match that. So if you happen to win $100, they're going to add on another $100. You could be taking home a lot of cash. So for the first 50 people right now, go to FanDuel.com, upper right-hand corner, click on the microphone, promo code Sportsball. And I want you guys to go check it out. Be a part of it. I'm going to start. I already got my team ready to go.
Joel,
once you guys get in
Joel, can I borrow $200? I need to get some.
Based on how you did last week, I'll tell you, maybe so.
We'll talk about it at the end, though.
I had a thought and I lost it.
Well, you were talking about people losing fingers, right?
That was just a weird story.
Not only is it's weird if it happens to one person, the fact that it happened to two people in the same year. It's just
apparently for all those who don't know what happened, apparently America has this holiday where people blow things up, and including their own body parts. Apparently, and I guess there were two NFL players
not intentionally
in July who were lighting off fireworks and blew their fingers off.
Yes,
two separate players. I don't know if they were like the same.
How do you do that?
How do you do? And if you're an NFL player during the off season, stay away from explosives. Stay away from explosives.
You think it'd be easy, but one of my favorite comedians, Ron White, always says you can't fix stupid. So if you have a guy that is going to hold a firework in his hand like this and just hold it, and then the firework goes off and blows off his fingers, I mean, it's...
And I guess this happened in July, and I wasn't even aware of it, but I guess both of these guys have sort of lost. One of them's out, one of them retired.
Jason Pierre-Paul, I think, he's going to come back, but he lost like 2 fingers.
Yeah, lost 2 fingers. I guess he's a defensive lineman, so I guess it's like...
So if you're doing like the three technique, I don't know how you're going to like do that now.
It's like the
gorilla stomping technique, I guess.
Yeah. Jesus. That's
anyway.
Amazing. What happens
Fireworks
with
are dangerous, kids, is what it all comes down to. Don't hold fireworks in your hands and blow them up.
No, please don't do that.
Let Joel do it instead.
Yeah, Joel
he'll take care of it.
But yeah, so I'm really excited. You guys need to go to FanDuel.com, go check out that listener league, and then for our draft tonight, guys. How excited are we for this?
I'm very excited.
You have been very excited about this.
I've been wanting to do a fantasy football thing for a long time. So to actually set one up now, we got a good roster of people. And
who's in our league? Can we tell people who's
Jesus Christ! All right, let me see if I can get off the top of my head. It's the 3 of us, and then it is Cole, Brandon, John Reisinger is in it, Gus, Jeff, Stephen Wood, and a couple other people who I can't. Bruce from Funhaus is in it.
Yeah, that's right.
And who is the other person? Let me find.
Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter is also in it.
To me, it's amazing. Like fantasy football is so huge that it's almost like why did they even have football before fantasy football existed? I mean, it really is just humongous.
And one of the reasons why it's so big is because you don't have to love or watch football to be good at fantasy football at all. Like that's the best part about it. If you're good at stats, if you can crunch numbers. You'll love fantasy football.
I mean, that's a cool thing. Like, so for me, the reason why I got into fantasy football is when I graduated from UT in 2005. That was the year that Vince Young won the national championship.
You were following players from college.
And so I watched Vince Young win the national championship. You don't do better than that. Like, there's literally nowhere else to go. So I'm like, all right. And he graduated and he went to the NFL and went to the Titans. And I was like, all right, I'm going to start watching pro football now. And it just so happened my old roommate who was running a fantasy league, he had a spare slot in his league. And he's like, hey, do you want to join us? They've been going for a couple of years. So I joined them. And now I've been playing in that league since 2005.
It's funny.
So, I mean, I've been doing this. I think our 10th year to play.
It's funny, too, because it's just sort of like football is just a weird game where if you have a guy that was a star quarterback in college, I don't know what that correlation is to being a star quarterback in the NFL.
Well, if it's a running quarterback, it means nothing.
It's one of those things where it's just nobody knows, right? And it's just sort of always fascinating.
It depends on the system. It depends on the players there, who's available. I mean, it's so hard to make it at that level.
I mean, there's another thing in sports too, which has always fascinated me, which I watched the 80s and the 90s, and in hockey, there's something called the President's Trophy. There's trophies and everything for hockey, and the President's Trophy in hockey is basically goes to the team who won the most games that year. The team that wins the President's Trophy never wins the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Like when I watched for the 80s and 90s, if you won the President's Trophy, I don't statistically it's like I think maybe one team won.
Are you serious?
I think so, yeah. And I don't know that's
so it's just best regular season record.
Right, whoever
Right.
wins the most games, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's just sort of like I don't know how much that translates to other sports as well, but it seems like to me the team, no matter almost what sport you're looking at, I don't know how much that applies, you know. And it's,
Well, that body of work at the end of a season, sometimes it doesn't really matter. That's why people say just get to the playoffs because you start at 0. You look at teams like the Giants back in 2007. They were a 500 football team. They got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
They came into the playoffs at 9-7. It's only 2 games above 500. They storm on to beat the undefeated Patriots. I mean,
well, like the playoff structure in each sport is so different.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, I mean, if you're a hockey fan, you can make a great argument because in the NHL, it seems like everybody makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so
Just
it's
a bunch
like,
of teams,
and the NHL playoffs are amazing, but
Yeah.
it's like I can not watch the whole season and then just watch the playoffs.
I kind of like how I sort of like how FIFA does it, where like they have sort of the different groups of people and they pull 2 from each group, but it's a round robin thing based on points, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
The group play. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite things about the World Cup is just being able to watch that.
Unless it's a little kids girls softball league, in which case it will end in disaster.
Just
But
end
other
in
than
tears
Oh my
and
gosh.
disaster.
Can we let's not talk about the kids again. We can't talk about
But
the kids.
one thing though, if you're into fantasy football, like we kind of got sidetracked there, but fantasy football, the cool thing about it is if you don't have one team to root for, you can just root for players, which is great. So like, I mean, I don't really have one team that I kind of like cheer for.
I don't have. I have 32 teams.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can go to a sports bar and watch 4 different games, and I have a player or be playing against the player on every single one of those games, and it kind of makes everything interesting. So
Yeah, it's really cool. And
yeah.
I used to be one of those guys that like I didn't want to do fantasy. I thought it was stupid, and then I did it, and I got hooked. Like it is. I'm in.
I know
I might
it's
need to go to like a recovery hotline because I'm in like 6 leagues this year. I don't even know how I'm going to do it. I have a
Jesus Christ.
draft after our draft tonight.
Oh my God.
And then I have another draft tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think
too many
well,
drafts.
I'll post the link to the our league and see. I think people can look at it. So I mean, I don't.
And so one of the
sharing
things
that.
I want, we need to give people the avenue to talk shit because that's one of the best things about fantasy football is talking shit to your friends. I mean, why else have friends? Other than to just talk shit
at them.
to
It's
them.
true.
I think
That's
it's just gonna be
terms of endearment.
I think it's just gonna be 9 people talking shit to Stephen Wood and how much his country
I'm all for
sucks.
Stephen Wood. I want Stephen
Everyone
Wood to win
wants
this
the
entire
Wood.
thing.
Everyone
Yeah.
wants the Wood to
I'm
win.
rooting for him, and I'm rooting for John Reisinger because John Reisinger is also very excited about that. He's my avatar, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a really nice picture
We have a
of
thing
John.
going on in the league already where everyone thinks it's ha funny to name their team after somebody else in the league. So it's as confusing
All
as
right,
possible.
so I'll run down the list of teams right now. So okay, I'm the achievement punters, which I love. So I asked for the audience to help me come up with a name. That was really clever. So
like
thank
that.
you. The pocket pounders, which is Tyler. Team Rooster Ball, which is Joel right now. Brandon has Team Patillo.
That's
Thank
my
you very
favorite
much.
team name right
Cole-
now. That's the best one.
Cole's got the coal miners, which is great.
That's pretty clever.
Jeff came up with Bone Thugs and football. Gus
How long do you think it took for him to come up with that?
I typed it in for him, so not very.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Then Gus has the Austin 69ers.
That's a good one.
that's a good
That's
one,
a good
yeah.
one.
Gus.
Bruce, Funhaus Bruce has Funhaus F and then a bunch of asterisks and then S. So I don't know if that's ESPN censored that or
I can tell you the one. Go ahead. You're
I don't
good to the
think
names.
so.
we're close. Okay, then we have John is Dumbledore's wand, and
Hey, see?
and then Steven, our fan is the London Silly Nannies. Nannies.
He's getting my award right now for best team.
I
And
can
we have 2 divisions, and so I figured we do 2 different divisions. We have the bad and the ugly because there's no good. There's no good. It's just bad and ugly.
I can
And
tell
so-
you there is one little minor hitch that we've run into
What's
already,
that?
and that there's not enough characters in the team names right off the bat, right?
How
It's
would
like,
you have a
dude,
limited
less
number
than
of
Twitter.
characters?
I wanted to name my team like Teenage Mutant Ninja, scrotums or something, but there's not enough. There's not enough spaces.
You can come up with a better one than Team Rooster Ball. Come on, man.
It's a template.
All right, so hashtag Sportsball.
Get Joel a
and
new
get Joel a
name.
new
Jesus.
team
It,
name.
it,
You
it
better
was going to
than
be your phone number.
Rooster Ball.
Like someone said, "Hey, just put Jack's phone number."
That's
But
my actual number. All right. Anyway, so
Oh, that's gonna be fun though. So we got the draft tonight.
yeah, we're drafting like an hour and a half from
I
now.
have no idea how this is gonna go. I'm
I
gonna
mean,
sit back and
the other
watch.
thing is I can already tell you game theory It's like you got to know two things, right? You got to know like NFL players. You kind of want to know, and the other thing is like each one of these leagues are kind of different, right?
Yeah.
And it's like how do you get the points, right?
Yeah. Well,
so
it's all
like,
on there. You can look it up.
Well, for our league, I mean, we're sort of a smaller league. We got like
Are we doing
10 players?
Are we
10
doing
players.
standard or PPR, which
No,
stands for points per reception?
We're doing standard. So basically, every 10 yards your receiver or running back gets, like acquires, they get a point. So if you have a wide receiver go for 15 yards, they still have 1 point. 19 yards, 1 point. 20 yards, 2. So it's like you hit those
what
thresholds.
you're saying is that everyone should pick the Eagles.
Yes,
receivers,
just pick-
'cause that's
pick-
how that's.
And also be taking notes because you can't be a part of our league, but you can be a part of the FanDuel one at the Listeners League that we're going to set up. So
There
if
you
you
go.
want to just try it out, you certainly can. We'll help you along.
Maybe at some point we need to like put that together or something. Once we get going.
Can we have Chris Damaris explain it? Like we can have him,
Oh,
give him
yeah.
a chalkboard, and
We
then
can
he can just
absolutely.
we'll
Yeah.
have him tell you how to play fantasy
He
football.
is
Chris knows his
fantastic.
stuff.
All right, I'm taking a look at the straw poll here. This is incredible. So right now, the straw poll we were talking about earlier, who did it better? The dramatic chipmunk versus the K-State Star Trek penis things. The dramatic chipmunk right now has 126 votes. The K-State halftime performance has 124.
Oh
God.
my
You
God!
don't
I had
get
no idea
Start of the
that.
wire.
That's incredible. Like I've never seen.
That is amazing.
So that is
Who's gonna break this?
I think we have 2 winners there. That's pretty impressive.
They're both winners. I mean, I'm skewing more towards the space penis bird thing. That's my favorite halftime
Space
show.
penis bird.
But
That should be Joel's team name. The space penis
Yeah, it
bird.
should be
The
space
space penis.
penis bird thing.
Thank
Not
you.
enough
Yeah, we
characters.
got it, guys. We got it.
Not enough characters. Not enough characters.
So we got another great weekend of football coming up. We got more sports coming up. You know, I believe the European Championships or playoffs are going on right now in soccer.
And
We're
that's
going to
in-
break that down.
Yeah.
And the U.S. Open's going on right now
US
in
Open's
tennis.
going
For
on.
anyone who's watching that, the Venus and Serena Williams are playing against each other for like the 16th time. That's exciting.
That is
How
very
happy is
exciting.
that household, right? One of them is just always winning and the other's always losing.
Do you think Archie Manning and like the mother of the Williams daughters could like get together and make like the ultimate like sports personality ever? Like they create a child that is just born to play sports and be fantastic at whatever they want to do.
we should try and hook that up? You think they'd be game
Let's
for
try
that?
and hook them up, Archie.
Archie, what you doing
Hey.
Saturday night?
What do you got going on?
But yeah, we have a huge weekend of college football coming up. Again, we have and NFL starts this weekend.
Yes.
Everything starts. It's going to be a lot of
NFL
fun.
starts in like 2 days. So it's Thursday.
We made some picks.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna
Last
go over
week-
this. So okay, last week.
I want to talk.
And this
I
is
wanna-
some
I wanna-
bullshit.
I want
I think
to.
it went
I want to preface
fantastic.
this.
I think it went great.
I wanna preface-
I thought it went
I'm not happy with
fantastic.
this.
So
Jack is generally pretty good at betting on sports.
Pretty
he
good.
really kind of is, but I can tell you, there's the yin and the yang right here because you're in the middle for a reason. I'm on one side, he's on the other. Jack generally goes with trend.
Okay.
And I generally go against trend. He picked
How
basically
did that
all the
work out
favorites.
for you?
It didn't work out at all.
I didn't pick all the favorites.
I was terrible. No, you picked. You
You
did. You
picked
picked
most
all
of
the
the favorites.
favorites.
You
I
picked
know.
most of the favorites.
I picked 2 non-favorites, and then I picked 3 favorites.
So when I lose, all I do is I just claim that somebody else has cheated because
Clearly.
how could I have lost? And that I'm just upset with myself and how pathetic I was with my picks.
All right.
Terrible.
So last week, when it was all said and done, we picked 5 games. You can watch the previous episode if you want to see him. So Joel. He's batting 20% right now. He went 1-4.
It did not go well for me.
no, it did
Tyler
not.
Tyler ended up going 2 and 3 for the week, and I went 4 and 1.
All right, let's-
So we
let's-
all got A&M versus Arizona State wrong. 'Cause
Did
we all
anyone?
hate
Did
A&M.
anyone watch? Did anyone watch that game?
I watched it at yeah. It
How
was
did A&M? I did not
have a
A&M
chance to.
just drilled them. It was close. It was like kind of the Ohio State Virginia Tech game where it was kind of close, and then this A&M just ran off.
How was
with
the
it.
quarterback? Because he's a new quarterback, right?
He did pretty good. He did pretty good.
They're going to win the national championship.
But-
put it in the book right
I
there.
just
Yeah.
went with the rankings.
Yeah, so all of us got it. Well, I mean, A&M was favored, but they were not ranked, which is interesting on that one. So we all got that one wrong.
Yep.
We all got Notre Dame crushing Texas right, and then we were all kind of across the board on the rest. of them.
That's easy, right? We all knew that was going to happen.
Yeah,
we
we
did.
knew that
Yeah,
one.
we
all
called
knew
that
that
one.
was
Bet that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this
let's
week.
talk about some of these for just a second.
Okay,
let's
if you want to talk about it,
TCU.
I'm trying to get away. I'm trying to save you some
Let's
pain.
talk about TCU, Minnesota.
TCU,
right?
Minnesota.
Okay,
So TCU is favored by 16.
Boykin is a senior.
Okay.
He's an amazing quarterback.
He's
He's a Heisman
potential.
candidate.
Yeah,
Okay.
Heisman candidate.
He missed 3 touchdown passes where the
He
receiver
looked
was
really
wide.
bad. Him and his wide receivers were not on the same
Wide open.
page. He threw 2 picks. That offense looked lackadaisical for ones that put up. I mean, they put up amazing amount of points last year, yardage wise as well. I was shocked at the way that they played so
he
bad.
missed 3 wide open
They
passes.
didn't have 3 touchdowns.
Three
This wasn't
touchdown passes, yeah.
Minnesota was throwing some outrageous defense at them, so I was pretty shocked how poorly that they played.
And they got jumped in the polls, right? Alabama's now number 2.
Yeah, so
they got Gopher.
TCU won that game, but they did not cover the spread.
No,
so I got that one, and you guys both got that one wrong. And then Joel picked Wisconsin to cover against Alabama, or Alabama to not cover against Wisconsin.
Win against Trent.
And Bama won by almost 20 points, so 18 points.
Last year, going into college playoffs, and I even bet money on this in Vegas. I was with you. I said Ohio State's going to beat Alabama because I knew about Alabama was going to lose somewhere along the line, and that's my problem. My gambling strategy is I look for the under, and I try and fight because I know it's going to happen. That's why I like college football. It is tough. That's why I like college football more than anything else. Because in the NFL you have parity, but in college football you have these massive mismatches.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have these incredible upsets.
I mean, there's a 16-point spread on that TCU game, and I don't think I've ever seen more than a 10-point spread on an NFL game ever. And so, keep it. The parity is incredible there. So, anyway, let's get into this week's games. We'll go ahead and we'll go run down the line and pick them. All right. And so, number 1, we got 2 college games, 2 NFL, and then a special one. So, we got the college football. We got number 19 Oklahoma versus number 25 Tennessee. This is a pick 'em. So, this is an even across the board. I'm personally, I say OU is going to do pretty damn good this season. So, I'm going with Oklahoma.
You're going with Oklahoma?
I'm going with Oklahoma.
How do you guys feel about Oklahoma's quarterback?
I love Oklahoma's quarterback. Baker Mayfield, you need to come on the show and do the whatever dance he was doing. This guy is unbelievable. He's from Austin. He's from Travis.
Of course he is.
Of course, every quarterback
anyway, that's a whole other story.
And his story is actually pretty amazing. So he didn't get offered a scholarship at either Texas Tech, where he was before, or Oklahoma. He is a guy who has walked onto 2 D1 programs and won the starting job.
Jesus.
I don't know if anybody's ever done that before. That kid is a baller. Everybody loves him.
All right.
I hate Oklahoma. I'm not going to apologize for that. They're going to win this game.
All right, so you got Oklahoma. And Joel, what do you think?
I'm going Oklahoma because I'm going with trend this
All right,
week.
we're all going with, it's even, so it's a pick 'em.
All
right.
No.
All
right, so our second college one, we got number 7 Oregon at number 5 Michigan State. So that's 2 top 10 teams going off against each other. Michigan State's favored by 3.5.
The bowl game that Michigan State had last year against Baylor, I thought that was more of a situation where Baylor melted down as opposed to Michigan State.
Yeah, with all due respect to Sparty, Baylor lost that game. They were toying around at the end. They got loose. You guys did not win that game. Baylor lost it. Sorry.
Right, and now Michigan State is hanging out with a number 5 ranking.
Number 5
Does Michigan State deserve a number 5 ranking?
I think they do. I think they do. I think they're that good of a team. I love their defense. I think Connor Cook is a great quarterback. This game last year, though, in Eugene at Oregon, was a really good first half, and then Oregon just ran away with it. And I think the way that Vernon Adams Jr., the new transfer quarterback who's playing for Oregon, he looked great in the opener.
Okay.
I don't think that Michigan State is going to have the speed, the talent to run with Oregon. It might be a very similar game for me in the first half, so I'm actually going to take the upset in this one. I'm going to go Oregon.
You're going Oregon. All right. So Tyler's got Oregon. I also have Oregon because those Ducks, something about that Northwest, it's something about
their jersey, they have the glow-in-the-dark jerseys now.
Yeah.
They're so badass. I love Oregon, man. You guys are awesome.
All right.
Can you give me tickets to one of the games?
All right, Joel. So
when you have glow-in-the-dark jerseys, that has to be like a top.
Oregon has fuck you money. Like, they really do. It's unbelievable.
They've got that Nike guy, right?
It's Phil Knight, man.
All right, Joel. So you got Michigan State or Oregon?
After arguing against Michigan State, and now both of you guys taking Oregon, just to make it interesting,
all right,
I'm going to go Michigan State.
All right, so Joel's got Michigan State. Now we're moving on to the NFL. Very first game of the season, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New England Patriots, and the Patriots are favored by 7 with Tom Brady, which is a story we completely missed for some reason. I don't know why we didn't talk about that.
What happened with Tom Brady?
Not
Did
much.
something happen with the New England Patriots franchise, Jack?
They're
playing in Foxborough, and it's a 7-point favorite for the Patriots. First game of the season. I'm going Patriots because I think Tom Brady is going to have a lights-out season. He's going to be He's going to be so pissed off.
Yeah.
So I'm going Patriots on this one.
I'm going to pick Patriots as well. I feel so
You're just
bad
following me, Tyler.
for
That's all
the
it
city
is.
of Pittsburgh because there had to have been like a collective. Fuck.
God damn.
When they heard that Brady was coming
maybe
back.
he'll get reduced to like 2 games. No, he's back on. He's back out there.
He's coming back.
All right, Joel. What do you think? Steelers.
I'm going to go Patriots.
All right, we're all going Patriots on this one. Yeah. So we all going to win together or lose together. Now we've got the New York Giants, New York Football Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, and the Cowboys are favored by 6. Giants versus Cowboys is always a fun game. We got Eli, we got Romo. It's going to be a good one.
I love Little Giants. It's like one of my favorite movies, and the annexation of Puerto Rico is one of the greatest plays of all time. I'm going Giants.
Going Giants.
Oh.
All right, for Tyler.
Wow. I'm gonna go Cowboys. I think that they're real.
I'm telling you right now,
they're physically real. They're real people.
They are real people.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm reaching out there. Cowboys going to win the NFC and they're going to the Super Bowl this year. Saying it right now.
Oh,
you just made people mad with that
proclamation. The Cowboys are going all the way this season.
I think
they've got an amazing team.
They do have an amazing team. DeMarco Murray's gone, but you know what's going to come back to bite them is that hilarious commercial that Tony Romo did.
Which one?
the DirecTV where he's like making paper.
Oh
mache.
yeah,
he's like, I made a brownie and what is it, a crownie or something like that? Yeah.
There are two things with the Cowboys. They absolutely had a absolutely jailbreak steal during the draft, where an offensive lineman, a top 10 recruited offensive lineman, a story came out about him potentially breaking a law or something.
Oh, yeah.
And so nobody touched him and no one drafted him. Then Jerry Jones went out and found him and signed him. So that's a major steal for the Cowboys. That's a great thing.
They have the best offensive line, in my opinion, in the NFL.
Which is a huge thing. DeMarco Murray is a big deal. Losing DeMarco Murray is a big deal.
But they also ran him into the ground last season. I don't think he's going to have a good season this year.
I don't think he is either because you go over 30 touches a game.
That's not the issue, though. I mean, the issue isn't. He's gone anyways, right?
Yeah.
The issue is that he had a monster season last year. That's not going to happen again.
Yeah. No,
so that's why I don't think they're going to win the
All
NFC.
right. So last but not least, we have a very special pick. We have Venus Williams versus Serena Williams in the U.S. Open. Serena Williams is the #1 women's singles tennis player right now, and Venus is 23. Serena is very heavily favored to win the whole thing. What do you think? Little sister versus big sister?
I'm going to go with the Williams.
All right.
Just pick one. I'm going to go. Which one is the better one?
Serena is currently ranked #1 right now.
Well, no, like one of them is like really good when she starts. No.
Which is the better one?
No. I mean, like, okay, I think it was like Venus.
You just
was
go
really
to Vegas.
good.
Like, I like to put my money on the better team.
Give me the better sister.
Just that better one.
No, one of them, like, I think it was Venus. She won a lot early in her career, and then it was Serena who's been winning.
Yeah,
more
Serena's
lately.
the younger of the two, and she's kind of like
so
usurped her sister.
I'm gonna go Serena.
You're going Serena.
Yeah.
All right, Joel.
I don't know about tennis. I don't know about tennis at all. But I'm gonna go Serena.
All right. You know what? I
thought that they were twins.
I'm an older brother, so I'm gonna go with the older one. I'm going with Venus just to make it interesting. So Venus,
that's a win for me. Catching up with Jack.
All right.
Do we have the same picks, Joel? For the most part?
Well, I went Michigan. I was going to go Oregon, but just because you guys went Oregon, I went Michigan State.
You guys split the Cowboys and Giants. You split Oregon, Michigan, and yeah. So
I don't
want to
have the same as you, just because, I mean.
Are you scared?
All right.
You win
Let's
1
wrap
and 4
it up.
last week.
I got to go pick up my cat from the vet. So anyway.
All right, Jack's got to pick up his cat.
Jack killed his cat last
We're going to do our
Oh, that's
draft.
a
I
whole
want you
other
guys
thing.
to go to FanDuel.com and to send out information about our listener league. Please join it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's going to do it for episode number 3. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.